Alright, hello everybody. I decided to break this little video up into two parts, one for each potential version of this assignment that you could have your students do. Personally, I go back and forth. Sometimes, if I'm really unsure, I'll give the students the option to do either one, and then that depends on the student. But for this assignment, this will be just a real simple, basic painting app. Um, you'll see on the textbook I've got, at the moment I'm recording this, one functional version. We had another one on the page, but something has gone wrong on the back end, and I'll have to get that fixed. But they look and function basically identically, so it's if there's one, that's fine. So what we're going to be doing is to create this. There's a few things to look for. But before I jump in, I do just want to say that this is, again, intended for the teachers of the programming digital media or similar courses. So if you're not one of those people, I definitely recommend checking out some of the other videos, both on my channel and just YouTube as a whole, that might be a little bit more helpful. Otherwise, stay tuned and let's hop into it. So I've already got this set up right here, and let me just make a new title for this so I know what we're looking at. All right, there we go. So I've already started by making my canvas a bit bigger and setting the background to white, just to save a bit of time. That's relatively simple. It's kind of implied that your students utilize as much space as they can. Just having a little 400 by 400 square is a little on the small side for this. Um, so I'm going to be building this version of the assignment using conditionals. Uh, so let's just kind of hop right into it. There's, again, no one right or wrong way. So I'm just going to kind of build this as I go. So I'm just going to start with what colors do I want to have in my um, in my box, or as my options. So maybe we'll do red, yeah, green, blue. I'm only gonna do a few just for the sake of time. Uh, just so that when we do have this assignment, I usually ask for at least so many colors. Um, yeah, I mentioned the numbers to have them line up, but I'm only gonna do a few. So we'll have black and white is the last ones. Okay, so I'm just gonna store all these so we can pull them up as needed. Um, and again, we'll be doing this generally with conditionals and for loops and the like. I'm not making any objects or classes or anything like that. That'll be the other video to kind of go along with this assignment. So I've made this one, so I figure let's go ahead and set this up. So we want the background, but we don't want the background to overlap with what we've got. So I'm going to move that to setup, so now any changes we make, we can see what's going on. Uh, the next thing I'm going to do is untick my auto refresh and set up a for loop, just to make my life easier. So for let I equals 0, I is less than length. All right, so basically I'm just going to run this for loop for however long, however many colors are in this array. So I can set this up to have as many as I want before and after the fact. So that's a useful little tool. So I'm going to say rect. Actually, we'll say fill with um, from the colors array, but specifically wherever we are in the for loop. Right there, so that way we'll get this all changed. We'll start a rectangle at 0, I times 50, and we'll make it 50 by 50. Um, we should see, boop, 4 right, red, green, blue, doop, doop. Yep, all right there. Cool. So again, we can add, whatever we want. And we want peach. That's not a color, actually. Uh, yeah. And again, you can just add or change them into whatever order you want. So I'll have that right there. We could also add a conditional if. Oh, hold on. If I'm trying to think because if we look at it, you'll notice none of these really have outlines on them except for this last square. That's what I'm going for. So we just want to say if it's the white square, we want to have the outline. So we could say no stroke, like so. And then the if, we'll say if um, I say if I is I'm just trying to think. If I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I is equal to 4. Then we'll set the outline to black. Okay. So I've got that right there. There's not a really. I mean, I'm sure that there are better ways to go about doing that, but I'm just thinking. Okay, okay, white is the. Usually, I set white to be the last one in the list, just because of this. Um, just to make life easier. Um, and it's always basically this will act as the eraser. So I'll set that there, and then to make sure you can see it against the white background, we have to add an outline there. If you wanted to get really, really specific, you'll notice that the white line is just a single pixel wider than some of the rest. So um, then we have I don't want, let's say is equal to 4. There we go. Now it's a little more obvious. So you could actually make this square slightly smaller, but that's not something I grade for. Um, if we want to be a little extra, we can add an extra no stroke after the line just to be 100%, or after the conditional, the for loop and everything, just to be 100% that we have no strokes on other things that we don't want. The next part I'm going to do is set up the drawing of the line. So there's a really simple way to do this is in the draw function. We can make a line. And again, a line, it connects a single, 2 pixels, and you just give it the XY coordinates. So we can say mouse X, mouse Y, and P mouse X, P mouse Y. And again, this is the current and previous positions of the mouse. And why didn't those pop up? Oh, that's because I said no stroke. Okay, so we don't want that. So then we'll go into stroke just for testing. I'll put that back at the black line. There we go. And I'm just moving this around. I'm not doing anything else. But we can kind of see some of the basic functionality appearing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a conditional statement here. So if mouse is pressed, then we're going to do everything. So let me just tidy up those brackets. But now we aren't going to get any drawing until I click the mouse. And then when I let go, nothing happens. So that's the first thing right there. The next bit we're missing is the ability to switch colors. So I'm going to make another variable, current color. Ooh, there we are. And so I'm going to make that right there. Um, and we're going to say if mouse is pressed, we're doing this stuff right here. That's great, but we can make this a little more useful, a little more practical. So if mouse is pressed is the first part, and we can go ahead and nest in here other conditionals based off of where the mouse is pressed. So we can go in here and say if, we'll say mouse X is, let's see, less than 51. Let's just say 50 to make life easy. I was gonna say if it's less, if it's on there, maybe I'm going off, but if it's there, then we can add in another one based off of the Y position. So, yeah, if mouse Y is less than 50 and mouse Y is greater than 0. I did that in a kind of weird order, but um, I'll set that there. So I've got the first one, else if, and I'm just going to copy and paste this and swap it around. So I'm going to make my life easier. It'll be if it's greater than or equal to 50 or less than 100. Something will happen there. I'm gonna just copy, paste. Only now if it's 100 and 150. Copy and paste, and now it's 150 and 200 because I made these 50 by 50. That's why I'm incrementing this by 50. So we get red, green, blue, black, and one more. We get 200 and 250. There we go. So this is where we're going to be setting some of the stuff. So we can just say current color here, and we can say we're just going to assign it to be a specific thing from this list up top. So up here, current color gets assigned from colors, whatever's inside index 0. And you don't have to do it this way, but I recommend doing it this way because now I'm just changing what what array position we're looking at. We don't have to type everything so many times and have colors, and then basically by not typing out that color name here and just keeping it here in one spot again as we swap the order around, it won't affect here. We don't have to change it in two places. So if I refresh it, nothing happening yet, but that's good to know that we don't have any errors. And I'm going to now set the stroke to be whatever's inside current color. So now, if it's here, and I think, let's just give it a test. So, oh yeah, I need to give current color a value to start with. I'll just make it black as a default. So now, as I click, we've got a color there. If I click over here, it's kind of hard to tell, but that is blue. Here's green, red, black again, right? And then we've got white over here. And again, it's all the same size, so it's really hard to see the white, but you can kind of see it's erasing some of what I've got. But there's all the colors right there. That's the main aspect of it. The only other thing that's on here that's not on mine that I've made is the lines are a bit thicker. You can set that up however you want. There's more color options: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and then the white to kind of act as an eraser. Um, and then there's some instructions. So you can set this up however you want. I'm just gonna real quickly do those instructions, and that'll kind of wrap it out. So um, we'll say fill. This was like a gray color. We had a rectangle, which was 0, and then let's just say, well, let's start it at 0, 0, not 0, 0, 0. Height minus 20. So now we got this gray rectangle here, and we can just text um, click to draw by 2. Yeah, click to draw, and maybe we want to. There we go. Um, Maybe I'll move it down just a smidge. Wrong one. Height minus 8. There we are. I didn't go nuts. You can get a little more with that, but just to show that that's another part. So again, just with basic conditionals, um, is the main backbone to doing this. Uh, Also, shape drawing and colors. We've got it so you can now click and drag to draw whatever on the canvas. You can change the color by clicking on the appropriately colored square. Uh, it's a little more on the back end, but if you can add, remove, swap around the colors, whatever you need, um, to go from there. The way I've done this here, we could probably condense a bit more. To be completely honest, I just didn't feel like doing it. Um, but I've set it up so that way you can swap the order of this, um, and it doesn't affect the colors. One thing to note, though, is that if you remove colors, you may run into bugs with this conditional because it'll be, oh, the mouse is here, but there's nothing inside of this, and it could run into a potential bug. Um, and if you add more colors to it, you're then going to have to copy and paste and add more like so. So it's not the best way to do it, but it's one of the quicker, I think. Just in terms of there's a lot of copy and pasting, so you could stick this out relatively quickly. Again, I just is the mouse pressed? Is mouse X less than 50, which is the width of these, and then it's just based off of the Y position of the mouse um, as to what color we set it. I set one side of this to be less than or equal to, and one side to be just equal to, because if you have both of them, if you have both of them just less than or greater than, there's technically a 1 pixel spot right exactly in between two squares where if you click on it, nothing will happen. That's a bug. We don't want that to happen in our code. And if you have both of them to be less than or equal to, you'll run into an issue where, um, because the computer will say, "Oh, it's equal to, exactly equal to 100." Cool. It's gonna stop at the first one every time. So let's say it was right here, whatever. It would always pick the first option um, instead of the next one where they're exactly equal to, and it can run into more bugs, and that's just because. Again, if it's two options, the computer is going to stop when the first one of these statements is true. So that's the short version of it. Go check out my videos on conditionals if you need a little review on that. Most of this is done in setup. within just the logic aspect of it happening each frame in draw. That's going to be it from me for this one. Stay tuned for another video where we're going to make literally the exact same thing, but using classes and objects. All right, stay tuned, and I'll see you the next time that I see you. Bye.